We see you, Bob. And if we see you, it means we are right there with you, tiptoeing in line, right behind you. And in that place, where rules, clarity, law, and separation cease to exist, we will show you exactly what we mean by violation.
Hey you, my name is Queen, founder of Miss Vixen, and this is the first episode of a series I like to call Media Noir, where I discuss media I love and also Black women and femmes in media that have inspired me in some way. So before we get into it, I just want to get started with some quick housekeeping. Please subscribe if you enjoy this video, follow us on social media, and hit that like button. For the first episode of this series, I want to share an essay that I wrote a few years ago about the amazing series I May Destroy You by Michela Coles. I really love anything Michela Coles works on, and I still have this series high on my list of pieces of work I love and am inspired by. Content warning for discussions about sexual assault, sexual coercion, and rape. I May Destroy You debuted on June 7th on HBO, a creation of Michela Coles. At that time, many of us only knew her from her poppin' television series, Chewing Gum. I May Destroy You is a series set in London that centers Arabella, played by Michela Coles, a carefree, confident writer with a crew of carefree friends as well. In the first episode, her drink is spiked and we see everything fall apart and watch as she tries to put all the pieces back together. I have never in my life seen a Black girl story told in this way, and I didn't know I even wanted it until it was on my television screen. As I watch Arabella do all the carefree things I once lived prominently in my 20s and have allowed to spill over in my 30s more subtly, I can't help but feel exposed and low-key destroyed myself. All the drugs, sex, and spontaneity are parts of myself I've never seen on screen connected to a Black woman in a fun way. This is usually presented on screen as a destructive and reductive behavior in Black spaces. Seeing that on my screen helped me feel a little less alone. Usually, this kind of carefree Black girl typically is not allowed to exist in jest. When you live with this amount of airy flow in the world, you become a target of blame for all harm that comes your way. So, as I watch Arabella meet so much sexual harm, I get fearful, uncomfortable, and angry, because I know what happens to women like her, women like me. Like many people watching, I fight with whether or not I can continue the series as I see multiple bouts of rape, sexual assault, and sexual manipulation bounce around on my television. Sexual assault is plentiful like that, with no discretion and very inclusive because anyone at any time can get it. This series doesn't tiptoe at all around this. Shit is real and raw. Then moves on to the next part of life quickly in ways that cut me, but also force me to recover as we navigate the scenes in each episode. It makes me wonder, when do Black women get the space to heal and mourn the harm done to us? Is this even allowed? Arabella and her friends, Terry and Kwame, make many of us go into memories we filed away and moved on from because we are not allowed to process what happens to us and we are not given the space to heal afterward. I'm watching and thinking, how dare you make me think of this shit I made myself forget about? Or I created a different narrative for endurance purposes, because when does a bitch even have time to deal with this? Michaela girl, who said you can do that to me? I have many fears for all the characters because who advocates and loves the imperfect victim? The person that cruises dating apps in search of sexual gratification, the person whose path to happiness doesn't fit the structures and goalposts that say you are a valuable contributor to the world. We are usually just the fun that people love to live vicariously through, then are discarded when it's time to be an adult. It makes me anxious thinking about how this story is going to end. The important work is happening through Michela's storylines. I see people around me learning new ideas surrounding consent and revisiting those fuzzy times in their lives when they knew harm happened, but because rape has been revealed to us as a very specific crime that doesn't allow space for nuance, many of us don't know that we are survivors of it. So far, all of the perpetrators of rape, sexual assault, and sexual manipulation have been men, and the folks on the receiving end of harm have been folks who represent as men and women. The notion that, quote unquote, all men have committed sexual harm is prevalent throughout the series, and one I myself have grown to believe. With my now adult language and understanding of consent, this series just amplifies how easy it is to be a perpetrator and not know or own their activity as such. We must dismantle the ideas of patriarchy and white supremacy. We must dismantle the ideas patriarchy and white supremacy have embedded in our heads about rape, consent, and agency. This must be done within ourselves and the communities we live in. These structures of blurred lines and confusing understanding of these concepts that manifest in our lives in very real, concrete ways are not by accident. Rape has been a tool used for thousands of years to shake up societal norms and systems throughout the history of the world. Also, since all forms of sexual assault or harassment are not things that can be punitively measured or named a crime, this has allowed perpetrators of these acts to keep committing them, continuously exonerating perpetrators of these acts by law and by the populace as a whole. Those folks are free and clear to harm someone else. Perhaps what is being poked at is how normal rape is. The current climate of accountability for perpetrators and camaraderie amongst folks sexually harmed has revealed to us how common this is, but it is still very easy for us to distance ourselves from it. We create this distance so we feel safe, and because something that you never have to own, even when you openly advocate for it not to exist. Michaela has said, fuck all the safety you've created around this shit. This is the world we all live in. Are you ready to dismantle this shit or nah? Ripping apart society's systemic addiction to rape and sexual assault requires a huge re-examining of things woven so deeply in our lives, those easily identifiable things we have yet to discover, which makes it difficult to address all the pieces that are necessary to destroy it. What I'm learning by watching this series is we must look this stuff in the face and own it. Own that we know and love abusers. Own the way we excuse abusers and learn the way we have backed survivors into tight corners, suffocating their experiences in an ill attempt to take away the existence of sexual harm. Yet instead, we trample survivors into their carnage. Whether it is a conscious decision or not, we have tried very hard to separate ourselves from survivors. We know it's wrong, but survivors are still sullied, and we subconsciously discard them because it makes us feel safe. We want to be the special person who has so much agency they was never manipulated by a perpetrator's words. We want to pretend we will always react with a fight, and that by tiptoeing through life with heightened care, we will remain safe. We act as if we always had a sound understanding of consent and that victimhood will never be us. We still sensationalize sexual harm in ways that none of us fully admit, because in the end, you're happy it wasn't you. None of us want to be her, but all of us are her. And that's the shit that destroys you. Thank you for sticking around and listening to this essay that I wrote 2 years ago. I just wanted to share it here with you all on YouTube. I hope you subscribe to the channel and like this video. And as always, remember you're a baddie and you're enough. And I will see you in the next Media Noir video.